Hey guys, it's Rudy for Bester Investor. I thought what I would do is I'll just record a quick video while this stuff about Oxy today is kind of fresh in my memory, rather than wait until later and put it together in a sort of a slide presentation. So firstly, on the prepared comments, which you can easily follow on in terms of just reviewing the slide presentation, because when Vicky and CFO Peterson were talking, they were pretty much just going through the prepared comments, which matches, for the most part, the slides in the presentation deck. A couple of times during the call, they talked about the storms over the last season being the most active on record for quite some time. That impacted the third quarter guidance. They talked a little bit about the divestitures, net of taxes, 7.9 billion in total, and obviously we know most recently they had set themselves a target of 2 to 3 billion, which they had achieved, and they're looking to potentially divest of another 2 to 3 billion within the period now Q4 2020 through to 2021, additional divestitures in order to raise some cash. Vicky said on a couple of occasions, including to the analysts afterwards, that free cash flow will drive future debt reduction. They talked a little bit about the operating cost, which is there about $5 or thereabouts per barrel of oil equivalent. The free cash flow, this is really actually good news. Free cash flow for Q3, 1.4 billion, is the highest free cash flow that Oxy had achieved since 2011. And they will probably use the free cash flow, all things being equal, going forward to keep paying the preferred dividends in cash. Obviously, the $200 million per quarter that they have to pay in cash to Uncle Warren. The target, they talked a little bit about net zero emissions. They actually now have set their target to get to net zero in terms of emissions before 2040. So that's an advanced goal, which is definitely going to, impress some people, especially people focusing on the environment as a sort of primary objective, including possibly even for a new incoming administration. Everybody is focused on green. Millennials certainly are, by and large, for the most part. But what I do want to get to, so with that out of the way, I do want to get to a little bit of the Q&A. McDermott from Morgan Stanley talked a little bit about Occidental versus Anadarko, and sort of how do the assets compare, onshore, offshore, etc. Vicky mentioned that they are improving the electrical systems to accommodate for storms, and to ensure that they have greater uptime. And it appears as if Anadarko was not as optimized as Occidental was in the past. So that's kind of like an upgrade, which is work in progress. But they definitely want to optimize the wells in terms of downtime, which is a kind of a legacy Anadarko challenge. And then she also mentioned, Oxy Low Carbon Ventures. Actually, this was mentioned quite a few times during the call. They're very committed. They're very excited. And this is going to drive some significant shareholder value. And in addition to that, it's going to result in some lower costs on a go-forward basis. It's a combination of partnerships. The subsidiary 1.5 that they created is going to kind of lead the charge on that one. For Oxy, their extensive infrastructure in the Permian is unmatched. And Oxy Low Carbon Ventures will extend beyond the Permian. This not just for Oxy, but also for potential future other clients. And they view the free cash flow that they're going to derive from Oxy Low Carbon Ventures as not dissimilar to OxyChem in the medium term, so in the very near future. Generally speaking, when people talk about medium term, they usually are talking about a period of about 3 to 5 years or so. They expect Oxy Low Carbon Ventures to actually be profitable without tax incentives. So that's a good thing too. Janine from Barclays talked a little bit about the working capital draw in the past quarter. And Rob responded to that. He said it was primarily a cash interest payment, some acquisition costs, and timing on international crude sales. And that capital draw that they had in Q3 is going to be lower in Q4. Paul from Scotiabank was very focused on CapEx at 2.9 billion. Is it a cap? Is that the maximum capital? How do they see it? How's it going to work? This is capital, obviously, to balance cash flows as well. Doug from Bank of America asked the same question about the $2.9 billion. Is it viable? How much confidence do the executive team have in their ability to sort of cap the capex at 2.9 billion? Vicky said they have high confidence. Doug, by the way, from Bank of America, was not the only guy to question the $2.9 billion capex cap. Brian from Goldman Sachs asked the same question. Doug, Bank of America, also asked about the break-even point. Vicky said previously they were well below $40 per barrel. And at the current level of capex, they view 2021 and including the Anadarko assets to give them a break-even point of sort of in the high 30s or thereabouts. So it's very difficult to calculate break-even when you have so many variables in play. But given the fact that Vicky is sharing with us the break-even is sort of, let's say, in the high 30s, hopefully it's more 36 as opposed to 39. But anyway, it shows you how very quickly and instantly profitable companies like Occidental and its peers can be when WTI or Brent starts trading in a sort of mid $40 barrel range or above that. Brian from Goldman Sachs, in addition to asking about the $2.9 billion capex for 2021, also talked about Oxy Low Carbon Ventures. There's some synergies, Vicky said, between Oxy Low Carbon Ventures and Oxy Chem. So there's some overlap between the teams working on oil and gas, Oxy Chem and Oxy Low Carbon Ventures. Oxy Chem is definitely not a candidate for divestiture. And of course, we already know that it's an awesome free cash flow generator for Occidental. Vicky also mentioned that the European peers, so that would be companies like Royal Dutch Shell and Total, etc., BP, are focusing on getting into renewables, wind and solar and things like that, while Oxy is primarily focusing on Oxy Low Carbon Ventures. It's a business they're already in and they already know and they're a leader. So Oxy believes they are more efficient than anyone else and they can also do this at a lower cost compared with anyone else. Vicky also said that you can view Oxy Low Carbon Ventures much like trees in terms of the fact that trees capture CO2 and so does Oxy Low Carbon Ventures. The difference between the two is that she said Oxy Low Carbon Ventures requires a much smaller footprint, obviously, than a forest. It's also efficient and it's very mobile because they can place an Oxy Low Carbon Venture facility pretty much anywhere, not only for other competitors and peers in the Permian Basin, but pretty much anywhere around the world in order to help capture CO2. Phil from JP Morgan talked a little bit about asset sales versus leverage. Somebody replied, I don't know if it was Vicky or Bob, said, Rob said, by Q4 of 2021, the free cash flow should be available to service debt as opposed to necessarily just focusing on asset sales. So any asset divestitures at that point in time would be in addition to perhaps address the future debt wall, 2024 and beyond. They certainly are prioritizing debt reduction right now anyway. That's a priority. Phil also asked a little bit about break even. He talked about oil versus gas in terms of the ratio. There are some fluctuations. There were some fluctuations in the last quarter. It could be more stable going forward, kind of more like it was before. And then finally, Roger from Wells Fargo talked a little bit about the 2022 debt, which is about $4 billion. And they said that that will definitely come under attack by Oxy in 2021. Oxy is in a pretty good situation right now in terms of debt management. So if they can start attacking the 2022 $4 billion in debt that would be maturing in 2021, they can get ahead of the curve and do quite well. And then Roger from Wells Fargo also talked about the 800-pound gorilla in the room, which is President-elect Biden, and how will this impact Occidental. I've also talked about this a little bit before. I questioned Biden having, flip-flopped, saying he'll ban fracking, then he won't ban fracking, then he'll ban fossil fuels, and we'll move away from it. And then, he'll I don't know if he said he'll support it, but he certainly said his government, would not view fracking or fossil fuels favorably, sort of at a macro level. So good job, Roger, for asking that particular question. Vicky answered it really well, I think. She said that, firstly, the incoming administration is probably going to have other priorities that are more pressing, especially right at the start. And she also mentioned that Oxy, in its 100-year history, has been partnering with governments and different administrations, for 100 years. And Oxy currently has very little activity on federal land. So there's not significant risk from that point of view. But she also made the comment saying that, Oxy is active in many parts of the world, obviously South America, Africa, the Middle East, etc., where they've had to partner with different governments and, work with them all over the world. Many, many different challenges, many opportunities for collaboration. And the neat thing about it is, Vicky was basically just explaining that, administrations, these are my words, not hers, they come and go. And you work with them and do whatever it is that you need to do in order to make sure that the agenda works and that everybody lands in the best place possibly available for them. So guys, on that note, this is, obviously it's my second video for the day. So after this, I'll probably take a break and give you guys a little reprieve from having to look at my ugly face for a couple of days or so while we digest all this information. Thank you for watching. If you like my videos, please subscribe. And thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all your comments. I look forward to getting your feedback in the comment section again. So for now, this is Rudy for Best Investors signing off. Remember to click the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.